kind of a workshop, like if you get, but I mean, if you already have your classrooms built and stuff.
Yeah. What are you gonna start with?
LAN school, yeah, yeah.
I don't have anything to do with it. I'm all done. I'm all on work. I got nothing to do. Sit back. I'm all good.
Unless that's yeah, into it, yeah.
I'm just gonna look at yours. I'm not sharing with you.
Sorry, thinking of
Yeah, we
today.
can't
Yep.
have any more meetings in here. Sounds like mine. I was just checking, like, why is it at right now? Maybe she's at the airport and flying.
Is that right?
We RSVP'd you.
All right. Well, we're gonna get started. We're gonna start it. It's close enough to 1. So I am attempting to record this, kind of like what Kyle did a couple weeks ago when we did that training, so you can refer back to it. Just gonna touch on LAN school quickly, a little refresher, and then we're gonna jump into classroom and, like I said, kind of like a workshop, because I think some of you, I don't know if it was you guys, but on the Google form I sent out, some of the feedback I got was, well, the training was nice, somewhat, kind of, but I was expecting more time to kind of work at it and, you know, have some time to just kind of try some stuff if I have questions. So I figured we can, as a group or not, however it kind of goes, but build it. If we have questions, we can ask each other. I can look stuff up. I haven't really played with Classroom like a ton, but I know the basics, so hopefully together we can kind of figure it out. So LAN school, let's jump into that right away. If you log in your computer like this, a lot of times you'll see that little LAN school thing pop up in the bottom right-hand corner. If you don't see it, you can click up and you see the little like circle of bubbles. You can click on it and it'll bring up in your teacher console. I have one student already loaded, which is this Chromebook here. But I wanted to refresh you guys on what it looks like when there's nothing in there. So let's see here. I don't know why I won't let us. I was hoping to. I was wanting to dismiss them, but it's grayed out for some reason. Yeah, but it's grayed out. 1-to-1. Yeah, dismiss current class. Apparently not. So, well, anyways, a lot of times you won't see any students on there. So what you would do is administer and then manage class list. So the questions got brought up. Well, what if they're not online? How can I add them? And yes, you can do that. If you do import students, you can create what's called a CSV file, and we can import them that way. That's one option. Yeah, you have to make it. Mm-hmm.
So if I had a file with all my kids' names on it.
Yep.
Are you gonna show us how to do that?
Yep. So we're gonna do that. I was hoping to dismiss this guy so I could see it,
So
but
I made class lists, but like I have kids who've been absent, so I wrote myself a note to add them in because they weren't online.
yeah. Well, and you can actually add them individually. If you want to do a bulk upload, you can, you know, get all of their email addresses put into a file and do a bulk upload, or you can just go right here and do it manually. So we could just do like and just add student manually. So they're now in this class. Just that student. I created those dummy accounts with just a class here at riverdaleschools.org for you guys to kind of play with in Google Classroom. So that's what I'm kind of messing around with here too. So say we wanted to add 204 Dale's. It's one Dale, right, Donna? So we're going to go ahead and click save on this. And I already have a test period. So what you'd probably want to do is just kind of refresher is create a class, like a profile for each period of the day. That way you can just quickly, when the period starts, go in, select period 1, and just open it up. So I guess to stay consistent, we'll do that. We'll do period 1. Okay. So we're gonna go up here to administer one-to-one, load class list, and we're gonna find our period 1 guy, and we're gonna open that up. All right, so we see 2024 and 2023 are loaded, but they're offline. So I'm gonna sign in here right now with 2024's account on this student Chromebook. So any questions on adding those manually? Did you want to see that another time, or?
So, like, once you have anybody that Google Classroom, you have all their emails. You copy and paste and put in there.
I believe so, yeah. When we get to Classroom, we'll see if we can export like an email list, and then you can just take that. You have to make sure it's a CSV, which I'll show you how to do that. But make sure it's a CSV, and you should be able to import that. And again, that was administer one-to-one. Oh shoot, manage class list. That's where you can add students, import students, browse for students. However, whatever tools you need to use. This is what comes up right here.
When I went to click on mine, it just like, and nothing happened.
When you clicked on
The, LAN school.
Yeah, mine doesn't. It just
explodes and goes away.
mine is asking me to register.
Oh yeah, there's a little box you can click that's do not show and just say cancel, or you can register too. It doesn't matter, but
The program never opened.
But normally you should click on it and this will pop right up.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and close it again. And school's right here. So you just click on it down here, or where do you click on it at?
Mine was in my all programs, so it's probably there too.
Yeah, so if you click on all programs, it's just saying, hey, I want to launch you, but it kind of runs in the background. If you want to actually see the students, you have to come down here to this little bubble and just click on it, and that'll bring up the console.
Okay, so that's why.
Yeah. Yep.
I know the first time I watched it, like, it was the beginning, it looks like it closed and it just goes away. But I looked down in the little tray at the bottom and I saw it was there.
So, Jason,
Yes.
you browse students, anybody who's online comes up.
Yep.
So could you then like click on those individuals and add them?
Yep.
There's a checkbox next to a checkbox.
You can add them and create services.
Yep.
You can also, like, if everybody's online all at once, you can also filter them. So if you were looking at your post, you start typing in your filter, and it'll just filter narrowing the list. So if you have most of them that you're missing.
And I told you wrong. You don't need the @Riverdale Schools. You just need their username. So. Yeah. Yes. Yep. Or you can redo them. Yep.
That's good.
Yep.
And we only pick up the ones that are in the class.
So if you that's why you build the class list, right? So when you're going into fourth period, you load fourth period and you see all those students, whether they're logged in or not.
So when you browse for students, so does it just pick up the kids that are in your room, or just pick up everybody?
It picks up every student. When you browse for students, it picks up every student in the school district.
Oh.
Yes. Yep.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Could you, is this only a desktop program?
Yes. There's no teacher council for the Chromebook. that I'm aware of yet. I looked the other day and I didn't find anything, but so.
What are you gonna do with this?
No, yeah, it's warmer in my room, so then maybe.
There's just not a lot of hot air in this room.
All right, so I'm gonna try to get
No, that's the problem, that's why you.
I'm gonna try to get this Chromebook to come up on the screen so that we can see how we can kind of control the student devices. And we'll go over that real quick, and then we'll hopefully be done with LAN school. All right, good. So you can see the student's Chromebook now. If you click on it, you can highlight it. You'll see it's red. All these buttons, they're pretty self-explanatory, but we'll just go through some of them just quickly. There's quick assessments that you can do with sending like a vote to them. You can also create tests and stuff. But let's just go ahead and do a vote. You can just, whatever. I'm a tech guy, so I'm not real creative. So question, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and send that out. And what you'll see on the student's Chromebook is you'll see a little thing popped up, right? And it says vote, and it's from me, Jay Denhart, from my laptop, has a question. And it has two little buttons, a true and a false, right? So I'm going to go ahead and answer true. And you get instant feedback from that student, right? And then you can go into the details and you can get a breakdown of who answered what. So it's a nice, quick way to poll your class, okay? And again, that's under voting to vote. Now, if you want to vote all the students, just don't pick them. You can pick like, you do the typical, I'm going to pick, just a few by holding the control key. Or you can, click on this one and click shift. Well, whatever, and select all of them. Or if you don't select any of them, it's going to assume you want all of them. So we'll click vote. That's going to send it out to everyone. So, and also you can save questions. So if you know that you're going to ask the same question over and over, save it, and then you can just load it. You can have a nice long question that they have to read. And so, testing, like I said, that's a little bit more in depth. We could probably take a whole a meeting time to go through that. Like you can create an entire test and have it grade it for you and all that stuff. But whether you want to do it there, if you want to use quizzes or some other kind of assessment program, you can do that. Run is helpful. The thing with the Chromebooks, the best thing to do with Run is just send them to a website. So we're going to send them to like slides. And we're going to hit OK. And so now this Chromebook is jumping to Google Slides. I forced them to go there. Okay. And you'll see it on their screen too there. The control for the Chromebooks doesn't work great. So I think you can do it, but it doesn't really work the best. But ideally, you could click on control and you can control their Chromebook. It just doesn't load very well. I don't think LAN School's figured out that yet. See, it doesn't. I can see it, but I can't really interact with it. So whatever. All right, message. I can send a message, or we can open a chat window. So like, I see you, bad boy. I don't know. And so, that was for Jen. All right. You can send a direct message where they can't respond back. You can actually send it anonymously. So maybe I should have said my hey. Is it Friday? That's kind of that. Another really helpful thing is you can blank their screen. Okay, so eyes at the front of the class, right? And under the drop down, you can configure that message to whatever you want.
I see you, bad boy.
I see you,
Right
bad boy.
there.
Yep. You can use an image when you're showing blank screens. Once you create a message, you'll have a list of them here. So if you want, I see you, bad boy, and you want to reuse it, it's right there. So, all right. Moving on. Finally, the web limiting. This is really, really good too. Probably the most important one that you'll use is the allow list. It's going to block everything except for what you've allowed. So I needed to configure that for a second. So we're going to go configure web limiting, allow only the following sites. So say you're working on a project and you want them to go to slides and maybe Drive. I don't know. That'd be a weird project. No research. Self-reflection. Okay. All right. So we're going to hit apply. And we're going to come into limit web and do the allow list. And we're going to say continue.
The Explorer tool wouldn't work then if they were in like.
Well, so on the Chromebook, this is all they have there. And what's nice about it is it says the request website is blocked. The following sites are permitted. So it gives them the options that they have. And then they can actually just click on those options as a hyperlink. But so you were asking about the Explorer.
Yeah, no,
Can you,
Explorer.
can you share that on there so we can see what you're doing on here? Or can
I'd
you
have to
bring
set it up.
Or can you-
Oh, yeah.
On here so we can see what
Yeah.
you're doing on the student
Yeah.
side?
There you go.
That's fine.
Gotcha.
Those words.
All right.
If you click on it like that, it'll show the big screen.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to look at these little screens.
Yeah, you can double click it. So what are they doing? What are they going into?
So
You can
there's
adjust the sizes of
Explorer tool is the search engine of the browser.
Oh, okay.
But the only thing is, if you have one kid's screen up, you can't look at the rest of them.
No, I know, but still, there's sometimes I'm like, okay, I can't tell, I gotta go over here. I didn't know, that's why this is
Now
good.
you know. That's why you're here.
Yeah, still, like, it's blurry as hell.
Just
So I'm like creeping behind, looking, what are you looking at?
Huh.
Like, you don't wanna get too close.
go when we're home.
That's what you type in, I see.
What is it?
What?
We were like my way. Something will come up on school. Something else will come up. Finally, last night I turned around and like, will you shut up and stop? I'm like,
You should have told us that.
I don't know if anybody ever saw Dawn when she first started here and got to know Ricky and got towards the end of the year. She was out shopping and I figured this is when we hired the right one. She came in, she goes, I was at Dollar General last night and she goes, I saw this and I just had to buy it. And if you look next to my TV, there's a 2-liter bottle of RC Cola. RC. Because I saw that, I'm like, so if you look at the bottle RC, that's what that said. That was my first present from them.
Well, I'm having issues with it right now. I don't know. It's telling me everything's blocked. I can't go to slides.
Yeah.
Oh, you know why? Because slides is actually just a pointer back to docs. So that was my problem. So be aware of that. If you're going to do that, you want to have docs in there. We're having issues. Okay. So again, it's Explorer. I'm not sure what like
Down in the bottom, like, hand corner is a little star right
this
there.
guy.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'll bring this up bigger.
If it lets you go out on the internet. If you click on that, no.
So what do they search for?
That's search engine. You search anything.
Anything?
Search your sources.
Oh, okay. So
Go on slide, it doesn't.
I'll email you when I'm teaching that you come.
yeah.
It doesn't cite your sources on the slides though. only-
I know you did.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't give you, but it'll give you the site. You can actually-
Oh, okay.
They can't.
But they can't go to. Gotcha. All right. So they can use. Yeah. Nice.
Dan Hart, can you put in, when you're setting up your classrooms, can you put in their legit email or do you have to put in their number of the Chromebook? Set up
No.
the file.
You just need their username. So like if you're putting Nathan Stickney in there, you put Stickney 2022. And
That's it.
That's it. You don't need the at Riverdale schools.
Yeah.
Yeah. I made class looks from it and look class line. There's only 5 involved.
All right. I think that's pretty.
I only have 5. It wasn't really challenging. I'm gonna take first. Yeah, don't get too excited about it.
That's pretty much it when it comes to land school that I had to go over. Is there any questions, further questions on it?
Now, can't you, screenshot with a,
Yes.
Yeah.
or whatever that is?
Yeah, you can just
Yep.
this snapshot here. So, yeah, if
see
they're-
that They are doing something that you're not supposed to.
You can
Yep.
snapshot it and then tell them, I see what
Where
you're
does it
doing.
go?
It's been
Send it to
snapshot.
Jill.
Where it goes.
It's-
you can save it on your desktop or wherever. Yeah.
The blank screen says, gotcha.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
actually,
Oh,
Last
that's
year during study hall, I had somebody that was plagiarizing and I.
had
Yeah.
a vision of the guy in Jurassic Park.
Didn't say
Is
that.
there-
Okay.
is there a-
So that was a good thing to bring up.
I love it.
Is
That's right up my alley.
quiet, please.
Friday.
Class.
Yes,
um.
that almost sounded like you had me.
Yeah. If you go to monitor, you can do view student internet history, and you can see their session, all their internet history, and you can save that as well.
Where was that?
Too. Yep. Under monitor, and then view student internet history. Yep.
So you have to be on that person to make your screen bigger. and
Yep.
that-
Yep. Actually, I don't even think you don't necessarily need to make it bigger. You can just have them selected in that other screen as long as it has the red box around it.
Oh, okay. You can also size those too. So
Yep.
There's like small, medium, large, extra large.
Yep.
Okay.
And you can arrange them. Like if you have like a seating chart or something, you can do like a classroom layout and you can arrange them like in the way that they sit. Yeah. Ah.
Now, will it remember your saving chart? Is there a special way to save that? or-
Yep. I believe there's a way to save that. I think it's a save land school profile. I think is what it is.
Oh, under
Yeah.
thumbnails too, I noticed.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Or okay, there it is. Yeah, save layout, lock layout, save layout, load layout,
Under thumbnails. So
view thumbnails, and then you have
You can
your
change the size of it.
yep. So we can make them nice
There
and
you go,
small,
right there.
and then you can put them in the order that they sit.
SOL at that point.
Say layout
Save layout.
for the seating chart.
What was the difference? So what's the difference between then save layout and then what was the profile one? How are they different?
Yeah.
Because they have save and load
Mhm.
profile.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
These are necessary for the layout versus.
Profile, maybe just your personal settings.
Yeah. And then also across the top, you can configure the toolbar. I think there's a button for just about everything. So if there's something that you like, if internet history is a button or not,
There was Cobra on the internet.
yeah, or like a monitor button or something. That doesn't look like there is, but there's other buttons here that you can add, and then you can, move them onto your up there. I don't know if the tutorials are good or not. If you get stuck with something, Brandon, you might be able to hit tutorials.
Where was tutorials?
It's the little first looking one.
Is there a tutorial for that?
This is it. This is it.
Oh, it's
All right.
You treat your custodians as well as we do. What are you doing here?
You were a teacher of that grade who's coming.
The lone elementary teacher.
That's what I said.
You get a RAM award.
You can.
Mr. Roberts already gave out a RAM award.
I did.
Wow.
All right. Anything else on land school? Okay.
I'll swear, not swear. I'll yell at my kids.
Okay.
They're not as intimidating.
I go white room.
Hey, Jason, share yours like that. Those are fun items. Can you share yours with
That one's gonna get them.
somebody else?
I don't know, I'm not sure. Yeah. I would think you should be able to.
I know, I haven't been able to. I'll use that little question mark.
You can have.
His mom. Very good. I already had a children out there coming in.
Oh, that's right. So, have any of you tried to create a classroom, Google Classroom, and not been able to? Trent, I know that's what I was going to get to for you, because there's a setting in Google that like prevents students from creating classrooms, right? So you have to be approved by the admin to be actually an actual classroom teacher. If that makes any sense. I have to, yeah, I had to approve you. Yeah.
Pushing this Google Classroom over you, you won't even approve me.
You have to use this, Trent. Let's see.
Does it let parents know if you invite them? Because it used to tell me they're not in the circle of trust, so they can't come in or whatever. Because I tried to get Stickler's parents in there and it kept denying her.
Really?
Maybe there's a reason.
So,
Higher power.
Trent, you've been approved now. So,
Now I did notice that it says invite guardian. I think
yes,
that's-
yes, yeah, I think they, and we'll go ahead and jump into classroom. And so did everyone kind of understand what Kyle was trying to say? Those of you guys attended the training about using those student accounts and kind of testing with those. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. And how to do that? Does anyone remember how to log in as a student while you're in as a teacher? Okay. If not, you go up to the little guy and you do guest, and you can go to classroom and sign in that way. So we'll keep that open. All right, so I just created a new classroom. Did you all see how I did that? Everyone's probably figured that out, right? How to create a classroom. Okay. So this is what you as a teacher will see. So I'm going to invite a student. I'm going to invite this.
I know it is. I did it too. Like, you're right.
All right, so I'm going to invite this 2022 student. Invite him. I guess I can leave LAN school open. All right.
Okay, I'm lost.
Yeah.
So I'm on mine.
Yeah.
And I want to use one of those practice counts.
Yeah.
Back up a little bit.
Yeah. Sure. From a Chromebook.
Once I add that fake student, how do I go into that?
How do you, because on the Chromebook's a little different because to surf in incognito mode, let's see here. Does anyone know the shortcut for incognito mode? Anybody?
Is this like a text or?
I can't remember.
Yeah, so where's that? What was that?
Control shift question mark?
Control Alt question mark.
There it is. Or are you looking for the keyboard shortcut?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, what's the thing that you do to bring up?
Control Shift N is an incognito window,
Oh, yeah, it is. Oh,
but it doesn't look like that works on a Chromebook though.
Carol, you asked me how do you zoom in so you can see the student. I think you just have to open up a new tab and go to classes and sign out of yours.
Yeah,
And sign out of yours.
But if you like on a Windows computer, you can like I have here, I can go to here and go to guest and go to classroom.google, and then I don't have to sign out. I can actually be logged in at both on both. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign in here as 2022 at Riverdale Schools.org. Riverdale. So now this is what the student sees. So when messing with Classroom, it may be best to use your desktop on your desk. So that way you can have both of them logged in. Or you can grab a Chromebook and log in as one of those test students and have it next to you while you're kind of creating your class. So this student here, I just invited him. So let's see here. I'm a student. So I invited this student to the Google Classroom workshop. So we're going to hit join. Again, this is what the student sees. Welcome to the class. Got it. So then we can jump back to, where's that? Oh, right here. Yep. And this is the teacher version of it. So again, this is the teacher one. This is the student one. Still guess. There we go. So is there any like area inside the classroom that we really want to dig down into? I don't want to go on an overview because I feel like quite a few of you know the basics of it.
That was really creepy. There's Brian.
I don't know, if there's somebody that knows it, a part of it that, or two parts of it that might be a benefit to some that are just starting out.
You might want to make an assignment and show them the student part where the student can create or add.
Okay.
And
Yep.
I thought it was, I didn't know this last year, I thought it was neat how you can display the class code for everybody to log into.
Mhm.
I didn't know that you could do that. So that might be
Oh,
like the first starting point to.
Okay.
yeah, they
I
showed
think
that
that
in
was,
the class.
that was new, I think.
That's new this
That was
year.
new. Really?
So yeah, so the question is about like the class code, right? So you don't have to invite your students, right? They can join you by showing them the class code. So you have your stream, you have your students, and your about page. So you'll find this under the students and the class code. You click on the class code, you have a couple options: display, copy, reset, or disable.
Where does it display on their computer?
No, it's going to display on your screen, Brandon.
So instead of every
Right.
join, what does that say?
You don't have to write it down. You know, they don't have to read it up in the top of the corner. And you can actually even go a step larger and be like, all right, everyone, get in your Chromebook, go to Classroom, go to join a class, and type in the class code for Miss. Instead of having to invite them.
Something that's easier or whatever. And you
So
can
if it has like a lowercase L and you're not filling it, I want that.
Sure. Yeah.
And you
Yeah, that'd be great.
Can you put those in if you want to just like A to C or E? It's just not how it's displayed right
For
now. No,
on an assignment.
Cause I saw it say something, or is it only for true or false?
I think, I mean, you can have it do grading, right? The question was,
But it can't be for like an open-ended question, obviously. But
Right.
I could never figure out how to do that. I didn't go to the training though, so you don't have to.
well, we didn't go over
I'll
that.
continue
Yeah.
to figure it out.
Did you want to sign in, Amy?
If you want to show that.
Sure.
Like last year, I still take care of it, but you can do, it's great for you.
How's the best way to do that? I think all
I
this.
could never figure out how to do it.
Well,
An assignment.
yeah, here we go.
That's all it is. It's ridiculous. I could never.
You can have multiple guest accounts, unfortunately. So. And then I'm recording, so I didn't
Oh, great.
want to get out of my account completely. So Amy's going to go into one of her classrooms because she has an assignment that some kids have turned in and others haven't. So you kind of get a live action look at it because I don't have anything.
Because I'm all about live action.
You said it.
All right. Maybe I should go. Ooh, this is kind of funky. All right. So, I just have the one assignment, the snapshot, and so as you can see, when they start to turn in on the turn in button, it'll tell you done and not done. So these are actually links that you can go to, and you can see who's done and who's not done. So over here is where you would grade it. It's the only thing I don't like when you put in an assignment, there's no place to put the grade. At least I haven't found it when you go to post it. So the kids don't know what it's worth on Classroom. So they only know afterwards. So I don't know. I've emailed a couple of times saying, hey, this would be nice if you could do this.
Put it in your assignment, but
Yeah, you can put it as a note, like when you do your assignment, but it doesn't actually show up. You would have to put it in as a note. So when they get done or not done, and even now I can go and look at kids and see how far they're progressing. So because that's on Google Classroom, so that's kind of nice. And then I can pull it up and actually comment and say, hey, you're way behind. You need to, speed up things a little bit. And then from here is where you would change the assignment points. And then when you give them a grade, it stays private until you hit the return button. And you can wait and return them all at one time. You can return a few at one time. In the workshop, he talked about doing a split screen on here to do your grades. There's a lot of space for me. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm older, in my grade book. So what I normally do is after it's all done, you can download the grades as an Excel sheet. And so what then I do is just open that. Why am I not seeing that?
it's that little wheel.
Yeah, it is. Okay, there we go. So I usually download that particular grade just for that assignment. You can download all of your grades on Classroom, or you can just download that as a CSV. And then I download it, open up, and I do just minimize my screen for my spreadsheet and then minimize my grade book. So it's side by side, and then I can just roll it down and do the grades like that.
You can also copy all your grades directly to your Google Sheets, and I'll put a Google Sheet in your drive too, which is that
Right.
top option. Yeah.
Another thing too, when a kid turns in the assignment, he or she can also unsubmit it. So they may say, like, if she doesn't have it due till maybe Tuesday, and they, oh, I forgot something, so they can go back in, unsubmit, fix it, and then resubmit it.
Okay, so.
But if they resubmit it after your due date, is it still considered late then?
It'll say
So much-
late once
Okay.
it's late, it'll say late. It's up to Amy how, if she wants to
You
call it
can,
late or
you
not.
can change whether or not they have the option to
go back in.
resubmit. So if you take that option off, but they submit it early and they go back because it's not the due date, you can message people about that.
I guess I never, they can always have the option until I grade it and return it. They can take it.
And that's where those student accounts can come in really handy. You can kind of play with those things, and because you can go in as a student, do it, submit it, unsubmit it, and then you can go in and maybe change the due date, to sooner, and then see how kind of.
Amy, what type of assignments do you give on this?
Just about everything. I'm so proud of myself. This next week, I only copied one paper.
Wow.
Yeah. So
You can click hide on that.
Yeah,
little
so
thing,
you
too.
can do, like when you,
go ahead. No.
when you like make a, whatever worksheet you would normally make, you make it in like Google Docs, right? And then you attach it as a homework assignment. You create an assignment and then you attach it, but you would want to use your drive, right? You can have multiple options. You can assign it to where everybody can work on one shared, or you can assign it to where everybody gets their own copy. Now you don't need to make a bunch of copies.
I've done it both ways, and just management wise, it's easier to make a copy for them. So it's easier for me to make a blank doc with the title on it than for the kids to add it to their assignment. So I can just make a false assignment here. So if I'm putting in, I'm not used to the keyboard, sorry. Putting in that assignment, I can give instructions. I can give a due date if I want to. The topics, that was new to me. You can organize things into different subject areas or topic areas. I usually pick my classes all at one time, so I don't have to go to each individual class because it's the same assignment. So you can click all those and assign it. So if I had a file that I wanted them to work on, so let's say I wanted them to work on the slide, I'd add it, but over here, I would mark make a copy. So then when they get that assignment, it's going to be their own copy, and all they have to do is open it up and they automatically can edit. If I just added it and they can view it or can edit, then they have to go up to file and make a copy. So it does that step for them, which is good. And then you can also schedule and save. The only thing I do not like, and I found out, is because we work multiple periods, you can't schedule more than one period at a time. That
And you
stinks.
have to go back
Yeah,
and that's
do for the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can save the draft, you can get the assignment, save the draft, and then go to each class and schedule it so you don't have to attach the file 3 times. But yeah, you can't schedule. So that kind of stinks on that. So that's why I usually make a copy. If you just made the assignment, when you assign it, you have the test. I don't know how we can show this, because when you assign it and the kids look at it, I guess I can assign it to that student, add that student to my class.
Yeah.
So do I
student
invite, but don't they have to be okay? So,
so 2022.
oops.
Like worksheets. You have a worksheet that we can upload, send to them where they can type on it.
And the nice thing is when you make a copy for each
So I
student,
should
then
be
it
able
automatically
just to
goes
make
up
that
in
student.
the top. So when you turn it in, you're not trying to figure out,
Oh my gosh.
you have to figure out who's who's.
Will this go automatically, you think? Should it be there? Or you had to access me?
I still have web limiting on this Chromebook,
Alright.
so I can't get to the classroom.
Oh, so that's not gonna work. So
I just turn it off.
So what happens if you don't attach anything? There are 2 buttons. One says add and one says create. So the add button is if they had something in their drive already that they wanted to attach to that assignment. So if they just opened up their drive and started typing their paper, then they'd have to go to their drive and load that with it to turn it in. The create is, it gives you a shortcut right to Google Doc, to Google Slides, and I think Google Sheets is the shortcuts that are right there, that they can create it right there in Google Classroom as well. Good thing to know too is that I always tell the kids, because I've come in, well, I couldn't get Google Classroom at home. Well, you don't need to, because all their assignments are stored on their drive too. There's a classroom folder, and within that classroom folder will be all their classes. So they're able to access it through the drive, or they're able to access it also through Google Classroom on that. So I don't teach my kids to add and create unless, of course, we have a document. Sometimes you get one of those documents that's just funky and it doesn't work. So then we have to delete the one that I've put on there and add another one. So I know like 8th graders probably won't know how to add and create because I usually make a copy for them.
And I generally teach them how to do both. They do upload things, and they do sometimes have to do multiple things on the assignment, so they may have to create a slide and or a document as well.
Thank you.
I will say one of the things that at that training, I don't know if you guys saw the rainbow question mark, that G Suite training. I've used that like 4 times already.
Good.
It's really cool. Little short videos on how to do things like that I didn't know.
Tutorials, all kinds of stuff.
Why won't you come up? Awesome. All right, let me get back in here. Hey. So for those of you who don't know, Amy kind of touched on it briefly. When you create a classroom and the student joins it,
There was something that I sent out last year though, where it responded, their answers came back, but it didn't tell me who they were from. There's something where I could put down where I.
what I was going to show too is that it also creates a calendar for your classroom too. So if you had upcoming assignments and stuff like that, you would see that, and the students can see that too. Sorry, I was distracted because the network or the internet dropped, because Mediacom dropped for a little bit. But anyways, we're back. So there was some questions going around. Did those get answered? I heard something last week. Okay.
I did something last year, I don't remember whether it was form or assignment or whatever. But it came there, it was just a little quiz and it came back and I had answers, but it didn't tell me who they were from. There's something, but other times I figured out where it would say
What did you like create like something in Google Forms?
maybe that's what I did.
I don't know, when you use forms in classroom, does it automatically grab their account?
When you send it out, you have to mark grab their account.
That's what I was gonna say, do I have to click something?
For the first question, I put a name slot that's required.
Would that be under? Is that an assignment that you can create for the Google Forms, or not?
I
use Forms in my drive.
just go into forms and create it
Okay.
and then attach it through you.
Because I just didn't know if you could like, yeah.
That might have been what I did, yeah, I just remember doing one thing.
They said they would create something with quizzes, like quizzes that.
Right. Yeah. Not yet though. Okay. I did want to show what the parents get, because with that test account. I had added myself as like the the guardian for Josh Temple or something. And then I got like a should be there. All right. Here we go. So I invited myself as a guardian for Josh, and so I have this accept button. I hit accept. I can say as the guardian, this is the guardian, this is the parent. The parent can determine how often they want to get summaries, weekly, daily, or no summaries. So I think I did weekly, and then I should have, is it up a little higher?
No reply weekly summary for Josh, August 11th.
All right, perfect. And here is the summary that I got for my student, Josh Temple. So missing from last week, class activity. So it gives the parents a snapshot of what's going on in your class and how their students doing. So wanted you guys to be able to see that. Let's see.
Over on the slide, the very left, that shows all your classes, all the way down the bottom, there's the settings there on the left. And then it'll give you the option of sliding. Like, yeah, first click that and then all the way back down to settings.
Receive email notification. Oh, I do? I would say it should be the same.
When it's turned on, you do.
Oh, when you turn it on.
When you shut it off.
Other topics we want to hit on? Are people still lost? Some people?
No, I just don't want to get too deep because I'm doing it right now.
That's what I mean. If you want to grab a Chromebook and just create one, no, you want to do it in your classroom? All right.
I can think of something that I know Brian figured out last year and he didn't share with me. Figured it out.
You're always on the bar, so I just assume you were.
Well,
You're the boss. I just assume you figured it out.
On Google Forms, and I don't know if that option had always been there, and it may have been new last year, and I didn't see it or just missed it. But you can create quizzes that automatically grade,
Yes.
and I didn't know that because, like, my essential skills test that I give is multiple choice, and forever because there's 3 different tests, read, and I put that all on there and it'll grade it for me.
And then it also gives you like a spreadsheet to see like this student, this was the most successful, highest rate of students that answered this question correctly, the students that missed this question, they give you a bar graph that breaks down questions, it does everything.
One thing you be careful with though is like, don't delete, because you have to do it in, it'll convert it into a Google Sheets. Don't delete that Google Sheet because you cannot make multiple copies. Like once you press the button to create a breakdown, you can't do it again. I don't know why. I deleted it only because I had somebody else take the test and I couldn't do it.
Like Sandra and Brian did it was a shuffleboard, so they actually had images attached to their test.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
So all it is, I just took my phone and snapped pictures of what I wanted, and then I just, we were making the test, and just added an image. That question is an option. You can add an image, and it goes right to that, go into that question. And it worked out really well. And then you can even mix up the questions. So if Mike and I were taking the test, question 1 for him would be different than my question 1. Or you can make it the same, so it would be the exact same with your questions. Like I don't understand question 1, I would move on.
So since we're on the topic of forms, I wanted to add that something that I found I thought was kind of cool. if you go down here to the little menu button for a question, you can do go to section based on answer. Have you guys played with this at all? So you can really have like I don't know how it would necessarily work in your areas, but like for this ordering form that I was throwing together for golf, if they picked a polo, I wanted them to go somewhere else than if they picked a hat. So I turn that on, and then now I get, and this is kind of like you were saying with the pictures on the choices too. I added the pictures for those. But like if they pick men's or women's polo, they go to section 2. So all I had to do was I hit the little section, add a section button, and now section 2 is the polo size, right? But if they click on hat, they go to section 3, which is hat size, right? And then after that section, you can say, all right, after that section, where do I want them to go? Submit form or, whatever. So after they look at the, or they pick their hat size, they go to hat preview. After they pick their polo size, they go to polo preview. And then it ends. So it looks a little something like this. They put in, oh gosh, has to be. Won't let me continue if I don't put something in already. Okay. So we're going to pick hat. And see how it took me to the hat size? And then I pick this, and it's going to go to my hat preview. But it's kind of cool because depending on what they pick or what they answer, you can drive them into different like areas. So just something to kind of keep in your back pocket too, since we're talking about forms.
Something that was very helpful when I was transferring my text into Google Forms. I was gonna have to copy paste every multiple choice, but for some reason it recognized that it was already a multiple choice. I had to copy my question and paste it in, and then I just copied all my answers and automatically put it as option 1, 4. So it was really quite easy to do. You don't have to rewrite everything, it's just copy paste. Yeah. Yeah, because it was already in my draft.
Nice.
I love it. Just one thing that school improvements talking about is taking our conferences and instead of doing paper in a folder, do something with the Chromebook. So if we can all maybe start messing with this Google Classroom, because we each have, like, right now they have a 6th grade math and a 6th grade English Google Classroom. So all they take their Chromebook to the conference. This is what we're doing in math. This is what we're doing in English. Not saying it has to be anything fancy, but that's kind of the direction things we're going in.
Nice.
Well, and you can, those topics that people are like, I don't know if I really use that. We could make a topic called student-led conferences, CLC, SLC. And that one assignment we want them to show, put that under that topic, and then just have them pull up that topic, and it's all there.
Will it link the topics between classrooms?
I don't think
No,
so,
they'll
but
have to open each of the classes.
But they could just
But
go
then
in
they
each
could
class,
go-
they could go student led and just.
There's the 5 assignments through the whole semester that
Yeah.
is in that
One of
folder.
the
Agenda.
topics are helpful in like where we were doing questions of the week. So we would do, I would start like our questions, and then the topic pull down bar, the question of the week. And then the students right away knew what that fit in. And so when you do a printout, then it has a topic on it.
All right, let's break.
Yeah.
We're done.
I feel like I get sense it.
But that's what,
Forms is
Right.
where I go.
What is this?
Where
I know.
it came from. Do you know how many things?
Yeah. If you're in Google Forms and you create a new form,
Because I'm looking at it right now, and people didn't finish it, but I can't tell them what.
Oh, right here. Oh, okay.
So the receipt-
yeah, right.
And then I would.
Where
I think it's when you
settings,
Like,
settings.
there it is.
If you click on the settings button, the little gear,
Yeah,
collect email responses.
okay, that's what
I
I.
think it's an option when you send it to.
Yeah, I think it does kind of.
Oh, well, I've already
Re-ask
changed it, so that really, I figured it out at one point. and
Okay.
I forgot.
Yeah.
I find it much easier just to put your number one question, your name, and put it required, because when you bring that up, you get like that whole email, and it's in a spreadsheet, you only see part of it, and then you
Sure.
scroll over to
So
see.
you just put name.
And make it a required field.
Yeah.
So then each question that you can make worth a point, you can make it worth 0 points. So that question, you can make it worth 0 points. And we'll screw up your point data.
While you're there, why don't you show them how you can just start doing a quiz? If you're making any more.
Oh,
Different
where's it at? I've never played with the quiz part of it.
You go back,
You go back.
Okay.
it's a blank quiz in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's blank, but it's
Okay.
automatically, right? But you can also take forms you've already made and make them a grade.
Yeah, that's what I thought I'd seen that function too, but
Right, but not really.
No, because I already have forms, I just didn't have it in form.
So,
But they're grading it for me.
but I just started it.
that's an add-on.
I don't know, I think it was, somehow I was able to make it in.
Then you can grade it.
Setting, yeah, setting, and then you just. put them-
Quizzes, yep, that's right.
We got 4 weeks to give our pretest, correct? I've got time to put it in.
She is like a table in your tab, so she'd be better off right now. Although you can make.
I have like, I don't have the.
It will pick up on that.
I attached the screenshot of, actually, it's just came right from our website. I just copied this from our website.
I have already grabbed my problem right there.
From here. And so they always have to make sure like those are happy and my first one packet. I want them to like, relook back and have a great question.
Well, that's true.
They can go to about, and then have a grading on the.
And then I can, yeah, if I have to fill out a graph, I can still have it separately, just add that in. Still be-
And then, oh, yeah, you can also,
Right, right.
so then,
So then there's a
all my
parent, you go
syllabus
right
will be
in,
up there.
yep, give your syllabus and your grading program, it'll be right there, if you have a question on any of that, it's.
Yes.
In Google Classroom, I wanted to put an agenda up on a daily basis, and I made a picture of one,
Yeah.
and I attached the picture. Is there a way to show the picture, or is it just a link that will then pull? Does that make sense? So right now, it's just showing up as a link, and if you click on it, it brings it up.
Yeah, sure.
But I'm just curious if there's a way just to have it show.
So, for
Right in
example.
Yeah, I see what you're asking.
What if you make it an announcement instead of an assignment?
No, I have it.
I just announcement.
Did you click the add attachment or you click the drive logo?
I did.
Well, see, that's how mine shows up, is it just shows up as a little tile.
And then you click it, and it pulls it up.
The
Which is
lunch
fine.
menu pulls up.
I just was curious if there's a way to just show it, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just
'cause
gonna show up
like-
as a screenshot message.
Mine's real short, it's just the agenda for
That's
today.
probably bad. I don't know why you want to change.
I don't want to change it, I just want it to show up right there.
I want it to be right there.
Yeah, just when you're on the screen, it's right there.
Like when you post a check.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Friday, you feel motivated?
I know.
What? You can take your, theme, you can change the theme of the,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I need to download your pictures, and
Yeah.
just use this stuff.
And,
Boring.
brother, I remember that there was something on my website. that ran on my website.
Yeah.
I wanted to build it,
Yeah, Adam, it looks like that's the only functionality that's really there.
I was just curious.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the end of the world. Click on it. What?
The last 2 days, I've done my attendance through Google Classroom. I've worked really quickly, but I don't know if anybody else has me, if that's a problem for everybody
What do you mean?
else. Coming soon. I just have, I just created an assignment, and I created like a Google Sheet.
Oh, so they open their.
They open it up, they sign in for lunch, they sign in for attendance, and then it pulls up. And then I don't have to like ask anybody, they know they come in, they go.
I always have them just move on the smart.
So it's, Ryan has is a little bit different, he has not answers.
So they just open it with a page.
Right, H, it turns red. HX, extras, it turns a dark red. A la carte, it turns a light green. A la carte extras, it turns, whole bunch is B, yeah, if I brought my own, so it turns blue. And then you just go through and you can look at colors, X doesn't do anything, just keeps it that color. So then you can just go through and say, okay, this
Sounds
kid
good.
wants this, this kid wants this. Like, we don't have smart boards to do
Yeah.
our lunch on, so this is true. We're just gonna send this out every morning for them.
But then,
You do it
you
now.
You still have to go over the science and add it in, but.
I'm gonna do that now. Let's just do the
What's
science
that?
thing now. I'll give you
Yeah,
one
we
sheet.
don't have to-
Yeah, we're just gonna
Yeah,
use that as a
you have to
big
do
one.
it on paper every
We're gonna
day,
meet
so
here and tell them about that.
Oh,
that's
gotcha.
fine.
No, right now, you get done.
I do mine.
Yeah, so,
Why?
but, yeah.
Most
You
churches
just
that
do
use that.
it that way. Right, because then once you submit it, it tells you.
Lori called me. We got a van.
Yeah.
So is that helpful?
Yeah, I was just watching, just soaking it all in.
Okay.
So I think after watching a lot of it, and then now that I'm through, you should be able to
play with it now.
navigate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I need it quite to the extent that they're gonna
Right,
use
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So, but quizzes, tests,
Yeah.
that's gonna be great
Yeah.
to use that for grading and all that stuff. So, and if I can get them somewhat trained on it now, make it here, don't make it here, it won't be too bad. So,
Cool.
for the try.
Yep.
So I'm gonna probably
Play with it.
go home there.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks for coming.
Did you get the remind text on there?
Yeah, they don't look at the sun while I'm in here.
Group text message.
Yeah. Reminder.
If they would have a thing about how animals are affected.
Yeah.
But most of it was
5:45, I
like
figured
nocturnal animals start
On the
getting
road by
out,
6, we'll be there
birds
by like
are getting
7:40. They
nests
immediately
and
would have
stuff.
gone balls, coach me at 8.
Yeah.
If you're
That's good.
I know they don't want to hit that. They just need to get loose. They don't need to go work on stuff. That's the thing. Like, that's what I hate about the Rangers at some points, because they're sitting there trying to work on the thing when really all they have to do is get loose. That's
The only thing with that though, if it's.
we can go down there and do the 2 that need to hit 100-yard shots. Whatever. It's fine. Don't whine and cry about it.
I don't, you think about all the farmers right now, they, a lot of them.
Thanks, all,
Yep.
I'll just say good morning.